Shameful. Shameful. Shame on you. Allegedly successful momtrepreneur Blake Lively is trying to squash a small female business owner. And somehow, this is very on brand. Hello, my fam. It is Perez, the queen of all media, the original influencer, and your number one source for everything It Ends With Us saga. As many of you know, the sisterhood of the traveling liar, liar, pants on fire alum owns many businesses. Things started about a decade ago when she launched that flop website trying to compete with Gwyneth Paltrow's Goop. Then she had moderate success with Betty Buzz, her canned soda line, followed by Betty Booze. Even though she doesn't drink, she is selling liquor. And as I've mentioned just this week, ball-busting Blake also has a hair care line. The shampoo company owner is the face and brains behind Blake Brown Beauty. Her beauty brand just recently launched hair and body mists so you can smell so good, because you smell. No, you don't smell. That's a joke. But she stinks. And this really stinks. Litigious Lively has just filed a new lawsuit. This one against a 27-year-old young woman with big dreams, starting her life and career with a new business. Kimberly Hamner filed a trademark application last year for the name Beauty by Blake. That's right. The ego on this one is so ginormous that she thinks she owns the name Blake. It's giving me deja vu vibes of when Kylie Jenner tried to trademark Kylie and the OG Kylie Minogue stepped in and said, no. Kimberly filed a trademark application in September of last year for Beauty by Blake in the hopes of trademarking her line of cosmetic oils and serums for cosmetic purposes. In her filing, even though her company doesn't sell cosmetic oils or serums for cosmetic purposes, Betty Buzzkill is fighting the trademark application due to priority and likelihood of confusion that will likely cause damage to Blake Brown. Beauty by Blake and Blake Brown. Earth to KK Khaleesi, the name Blake is not trademarkable. Newsflash, you don't own it. In her filing, though, her lawyer says that the Beauty by Blake trademark is likely to be confused, to be deceived, and to assume erroneously that applicants' goods are those of her company, and that applicant is in some way connected with or sponsored by Crying Ryan's wife. Her lawyer also says that the 27-year-old young woman from Utah also is not connected to Blake Brown, nor does she have license to use the name Beauty by Blake or Blake in connection in any way. I will play devil's advocate for a minute and acknowledge that Blake Brown sought trademark for their name before Beauty by Blake, but only by a few months, actually. Blake Brown's trademark was granted, and it covers hair oil, baby oils, face oils, essential oils, and aromatic oils. Currently, though, they only sell shampoo, leave-in conditioner, hair masks, hair mousse, and hair and body mists. Hamner has not yet responded to the lawsuit. Hopefully she can afford a good lawyer. She has until mid-July to respond. However, be careful. You are one dragon down, and when you play with fire, you can get burned. I did some very rudimentary research, and it turns out that somebody has been using the brand Beauty by Blake since 2017. Granted, it's a hairstylist. However, if this woman wanted to pose a legal challenge to Blake Brown, I think she might have a case. 2017, Beauty by Blake has already been in existence, and Blake Brown only around and trademark approved since 2024. I just don't think it's very pro-woman to do what she did. Do you? Additionally, this is a 3-in-1 video. I found this very interesting. There is a new Deadpool VR game coming out. It will be for Meta Quest 3, and Ryan Reynolds is not going to be voicing Deadpool. Instead, Neil Patrick Harris is the voice of Deadpool for this new VR game. Let me show you a snippet of that. Okay.
Back and bask in the glory of gaming's first quintuple A tropical farming sim experience.
That's clearly Neil Patrick Harris, and he sounds great. Why is Ryan Reynolds not involved? Does he think it's beneath him? Did they not offer him enough money? Or was he not asked? Did the makers of the new game think Ryan is a little too toxic these days and don't want the association? Just saying. Additionally, there is an explosive new report about Blondie's husband and that UK soccer team that he is part owner of. Bloomberg is reporting this, and I consider Bloomberg to be very reputable. Scarlett Johansson's ex-husband and his friend Rob McElhenney bought Wrexham FC in 2021 for $2.5 million. That's basically nothing for, very famous people. And to their credit, they've been able to turn the team into a winning one and grow the brand as well. There's even a Wrexham FC reality TV show. Kudos. Now, 4 years later, after all that hard work, they're looking to cash in at a 19,000% valuation. Talk about growth. From $2.5 million they bought it to now they want to sell shares with a valuation of the team at $475 million. And it might be a really good investment. Wrexham has been promoted 3 straight times under the McElhenney Reynolds ownership. Means they've had 3 great seasons. And for the upcoming season, they will play in the Championship League, which is 1 level below the English Premier League. Fellow Championship League team Everton recently was sold in a deal that British media estimated was worth $500 million. So a $475 million valuation deal for Wrexham is pretty on par. Wrexham was struggling financially when Mr. Blake Lively bought it in 2021, but for the fiscal year ending in June 2024, they generated $35.6 million in revenue, an increase of 155% year over year. That's some good businessing. But what's really wild is that Wrexham had a valuation of roughly $136 million in October of last year. Now, less than a year later, they want a valuation of $475 million. And the team needs money to fund a competitive roster. Average salaries roughly triple from League One to their the Championship League. So more money is needed, hence this latest business move. You know what? I may not be the biggest fan of Ryan Reynolds, but he is a good businessman. Her, not so much. All right, thoughts on everything? Let's discuss in the comments.